Good evening. Evening little ramble thing. Take 5 million. The other one started rattling and yeah. No. Got my vehicle into the mechanic shop here this morning. Well, yesterday morning I should say now. So I think it's after midnight now. But no, after getting the truck back and all, because that didn't take much. That was just, yeah. Thankfully, it's running better. They weren't able to really get in and check do a test on the pump thing, on the fuel pump. But given that it's the original fuel pump, it's most likely going to need to be replaced at some point. The positive, though, is when the truck gets activated, you can actually hear it again. So it lets you know that there's fuel running through, thankfully. So that's good. So they got their vehicle running and all that, which it wasn't worse than that. Just it's still something they're gonna have to replace here at some point soon. But no, after going picking the truck up and all, I took Mr. Bear and went on a short drive. Figure out I was gonna go on a. I was like, let's go somewhere, go for a walk, get there, you know, take some photos and stuff. And for the hell of it, I went ahead and stopped by one of the old cemeteries out here. No, I've been there before, and it worked out too because it's entirely fenced in. So when going there and all that, and taking Coda there, he was able to run around. Thankfully, he wasn't peeing on headstones and stuff. He was actually being a good boy. He was running around and enjoying himself that he got to adventure around there. But yeah, did some photography there and all that stuff, and cleared some of the branches and all that from the nearby trees off of some of the headstones and wiped them off a little bit. It's just I didn't have, yeah. If I had a little hand broom, I would have been more than happy to go through each one and actually clean them all off. But no, got back here, did a couple vids, one with the photos and all, which is uploaded. The other one I had uploaded and then I deleted. I'm just like, oh. I'm still processing things. I'm still processing a lot of stuff. And yeah, there's still things that are going on. I'm thankful that things are a little more silent than what they were before. I when certain things are still going on around me, I'll just say, it's just furthering that decision of it's time to walk away. No, when I got back though from the cemetery and all that stuff and did the vids, I ended up passing out. I got drained from that. It was, yeah. Definitely, yeah. Used to go to those places a lot with my mom and her group, and then my uncle and his group. Then I would do a lot of paranormal investigations and stuff. We cemeteries, homes, apartments, all that stuff, all those things, historical places. Um, yeah, old asylums. So it's, yeah, but I started doing stuff on my own too, and then it just got to a point that it was like, no, I don't want, no. It's like I basically learned enough, I should say, or experienced enough, and it's those types of situations that, yeah, it lets you know that I already knew already, I'll just say before then, I already believed God was real. It came after that I knew and I know he's real. And so, yeah, that strengthened my faith. And anything that goes on, it's like, as they say, all things are possible under God. So, yeah. And there's certain things biblically that are acknowledged that it just supports a lot, all this stuff. So for people to say, oh, that's not true. Even, what do you call it? The natural spirits. The natural spirits not that existed here before humans and all. They're acknowledged in the Bible. And all that stuff. They're the same spirits that, other, I don't want to call, because it's called New Age. It was called New Age in the 90s and stuff like that when it comes to religion, but it's not really New Age. I mean, spiritualism has been around like longer than modern religion and organized religion. It's been around for a long time. To me, those types of religions have been around longer than almost any other realistically Eastern or Western form of religion, for Buddhism, Taoism, all that. And so it's, I have a respect for them, because all that does, it just instills my faith and recognition and all that stuff. And yeah, it's recognizing there's only one God and recognizing the place of these others. And as it states, anything can be a God. And we all know, even though with putting my 2 cents in, money is considered a god on this planet. Politics have become a weird religion, and that's why I broke away from that shit, because to me that's Satan's religion. The more I paid attention, I was like, yeah, no. I remember watching it was a documentary thing on oh gosh, I can't remember. I can't believe I can't remember his name now. Gentleman out of South Africa. Him and his family. Yeah, where they're, even though they were involved with necklacing, I don't know, whatever happened caused them to change. Basically change their spirit or their hearts. And regardless of the atrocities that was linked, yeah. But during one of those documentaries, he made the comment about why he preached the religion of politics. And when he made that statement in that documentary, it stuck with me. And I don't even remember which one I watched, because there's so many between YouTube, and then you got some on Amazon, you'll find some on Netflix and all that stuff. So it's like, yeah, I don't even remember which one it was, and I don't know how many times I tried to look it up. So that kind of stuck with me. And then watching how its affect lives, not just in the US, but globally. It's turned into a global religion that is very equivalent to Christianity, Judaism, Islam, Buddhism, all that stuff. All the primary religions that are in larger scale in comparison to some of these other ones. And so it's like, yeah. So I broke away from a lot of it, because all I saw was nothing but hatred and division, and it's like, that's what Satan wants. It's the devil that wants to see families broken and divided. They want to see, good people hurt. They want to see friendships destroyed. They don't want to see. They don't want people. It seems like every week or every other week they find another thing to try to divide people more, and it's like, that's not today, Satan, for me. If people want to view me in a different light and hate me for that, that's fine. That's okay. I'm not going to hate them for it. I may hate the things that people do, but it doesn't mean that I hate them, the person. As I was saying, I ended up passing out, for a while. I've been awake for a few hours now at this point because, the last vid was, I'm gonna try and do this in a shorter amount of time. And hopefully I don't cause this to rattle while I'm talking and a little more calm. No, I not doing anything or rattling my legs or anything like that, but the other one would start rattling when I got pretty darn drained going to that cemetery. Got some good pictures though. I mean, some of those headstones were, that one of them with this big black one with the roses and stuff, that was really, really neat. Then there was one that I noticed they had the Masonic symbolism, and then the pentagram, not a pinnacle. So pinnacle is where the star, the point is upwards. So if it was a triangle, the top of it would be at the top, or the tip of it would be at the top, or the point, one of the points, instead of to the sides, where it's this way instead of this way. So there was the Masonic symbolism, and then there's the other, and I knew that was Masonic symbolism too, but still, I was like, it's kind of interesting. It was interesting to walk through, and just looking at the headstones, you can almost see a story within that family. And even with some of them with the size of headstones, you can tell which family members in that family was what you would consider being more successful than others. Where others, it was obvious, like the one baby, they didn't have a chance at life to even get the, a basic headstone. It was just, I don't know how to explain that one. It's humbling to see those things. Versus a child that made it 8 months, that got a headstone that had a lamb on it and all that stuff. And then some of these other kids, they had, so I mean, it's a humbling experience, but one thing's for sure, and I can't call them things, it sounds wrong to say it that way, I just don't know how to say it differently. What comes with you in death is your family and the people you love, not the things you love. It's nice to have all the stuff that makes life easier and more entertaining, or to pass time a little better, especially when you're alone and you don't have people around, and you don't have anybody, so you gotta, that helps you not just pass your time, but it's building a relationship in some degree, not just, with yourself, with God, with the environment around you. It's doing all that. Especially if you're one that's actually paying more attention to that versus putting all the focus directly on the pain. Where you're just kind of drowning yourself in music that more or less just keeps that shit going, or watching shows that keep those types of emotions going, that make you relive those experiences. It's like, I realized, I had made a comment in an earlier vid here today that I ended up removing, because I had done a reaction vid to this vid that's on narcissistic abuse, how a narcissist could take somebody who's typically calm and laid back and put them in virtually a permanent survival mode, which is from Michelle Lee Neve Coach channel. I hope I said that right. And I got a reaction out of me. It wasn't like, a real angry one. It hurt, because what she was talking about was exactly what I was going. I knew exactly what she was talking about, and that's why I ended up screenshotting a couple of the vids, and then just putting the links to them, because I don't wish on anybody to go through that. Not even the person who did it or the people involved. I don't wish what I went through on anybody. Waking up and everything, I've had to, waking up today, since waking up, I'm still processing things. Because there's a lot of stuff that went on, and I ended up sort of taking a break from it a little bit. you know, recollect myself, take a break from, give my mind and my emotions a break from all the crap that's been going on. And there's things that I'm very aware of, and I'm also aware of things that have been, that people attempted to hide, that I'm already aware of. You know, it's, I don't want to carry this on, but ice cream cravings, 90-pound weight gain in a week. The Norplant thing was no good anymore because they used a pseudo thing as a cover why they had that. And also recognizing with age, and even though certain surgeries happen with age, they can become undone and things grow back. And when people are being overly promiscuous, certain things can happen. I'll just put it that way and leave it short. So yes, I'm aware of very strong possibilities in certain situations, amongst so many other things. And so, because my brain over the last several years has been trained to immediately just go to the worst outcome possible, because that's what's been going on, you know, I've had to really process like a lot of things that's been happening, especially as new things have been coming to me and new things that I had learned here, you know, about a month or so ago, and all this other crap. Like, as I've said before, I thought things only really had to do with one person and their flying monkeys, only to find out it was like a whole lot of people. And it wasn't just one person flying monkeys. There was a lot of people. Even people that I never would have expected in my life. Like, there's people that really meant a lot to me. Like, my foster sister. I don't care what anybody said. Even now, I still love my foster sister. I love her very much. I don't hate her. You know, I missed her for a long time because that was my family. And so, to have that type of part, that was a bit of a crushing moment. You know, getting to at least be able to see her one more time and give her a hug and all that stuff. I was very thankful for that, and I'm still thankful for that. Along with other people that very much mean a lot to me, that I just have continued. At one point, I've hinted at them a few times throughout my vids, and there was a couple that I locked, and then I think maybe one I deleted, including a couple posts, because I am trying to respect. I'm trying to respect that, because that is where I'm trying to avoid carrying on. I've had my first relationship in high school sweetheart, and that was one of the first people I ever really loved in my life. I've loved them almost my whole life. You know, I'm 43, and it was 28 years. And the first person I ever truly loved in my life was also involved in this. And it's taking me a while to try and, it's like, there's two sides of the situation with the involvement, and I don't want to go into either of it, really, to be honest. But my first instinct was to go for the worst. But I also, because of how my brain works, immediately, the missing, it's, there's still a lot of missing puzzle pieces and information. Sorry, I'm still processing as I'm talking. When I did the previous vid, I was processing, and, at first it was kind of like, the part of it was feeding a fear, like, I don't know how to address an individual right now, because this is all concerned, because I'll just say I'm thankful I never got married. I didn't get married again, even though I want to get married again. I want a family. I want to be a part of a family. All that. It's just I don't want to be a part of this bullshit. I don't want to be stuck in these fucked up cycles. I want to continue. And I'm getting tired of saying I want. There's a long time there it was really hard for me to even say the word I because I was so used to saying we and us and our. Only to realize it was truly them and I, or us and them, or however you want to put it. It was not. Yeah. They led me to believe one thing, only to learn it was another. No, there's a lot of. I'm becoming more and more aware of different connections, even between family and all that. Because, yes, this ended up involving a lot of family, a lot of people I went to school with, a lot of people I don't know who the fuck they are, a lot of things. And I'm trying not to allow myself to get overly, stressed or anything like that. So, because, yeah. The last vid I did trying to cover this, anytime I started to get stressed, I noticed you'd hear a rattle on the phone. So, yeah. No, I'm not shaking the legs. I'm actually slipping my Jesus shoes off so I can set my feet right in front of my little foot heater thing. Because, yeah. There's a lot of things that it like I said, there's two sides of the coin that it can be. And I am looking at both perspectives. And taking in the second perspective and looking at other things. I've said it even in some of my short vids. If you pay attention, and movies are a great place and a lot because to do this or learn this is in everything that you watch or listen to, whether it's a TV show, a movie, a song. It can be just 2 or 3 words or just a single sentence. Excuse me. And you will be given a message through that. Excuse me, damn it. You can be given a message through that. Where, in general life is concerned and all that stuff. And it's lessons that you can learn that are given in the most, what would you say, in the most public of places, but yet at the same time in the most hidden in ways, because most people that are watching movies, even if they pick up on these certain lines, they're going, I love that. They hear it or whatever and they appreciate it, but they don't, only fewer people listen to what those very specific things are being said and realize, there's a message there. So if you apply that same thought, I guess is what you call it. It's like I'm one of those people, I can watch a movie and I'll start plucking mistakes out of that movie that most people in general don't catch. Like, that was one of the things that I annoyed my, both, especially my older son's mom and all. Anytime I watch me, I'd start catching these mistakes. And she'd be like, how the hell did you do that? Or, why are you doing it? Or whatever. Like, they didn't even catch it. And so I can't help it. Like, my brain catches that type of shit. It does the same thing when it comes to dealing with people. And when processing what it's catching, yeah, like I said, it goes into it can go in 2 directions, but always the first direction is always towards the negative because it's all I've ever dealt with. And so sitting, not just sitting, even on my walks, all this stuff. And it seems to be going on too while I'm sleeping, because for some reason, when for example, it's why I try to avoid to go to sleep upset about something or thinking about something negative because for some reason when I wake in the morning, I stew on it in my sleep. Like it gets mad. Like, yeah, no. And so that's why when I go to bed, before I go to sleep, I always, in a form of meditation, I focus on my stories, my book, my second book thing. And when I focus on it, I focus on every detail of it. What, if they're sitting at a table like now, I try to focus on, what's on the table. It's like creating, in essence, another world. I meditate on that. And then that's what I utilize to write, even if I don't include all those details. It allows me, I don't know how to explain it any more than that, but that's how I meditate on things. And it allows me to kind of separate from what I had been dealing with that day or what had been stressing me out. And some parts of that, I will intentionally spend more time focusing on certain moments in my, in that, I guess you could say, the process of writing my another book. I intentionally put more focus on some things because, yeah, I don't want to go more detail. But if you apply these things, as I was saying, apply this type of stuff to people, how you interact with people. People always drop hints or give you messages, and they might not realize that they're doing this to themselves. Their actions might be doing this, or yeah. And there's different things that there's just different things that still stick out. And yes, my brain will, for some reason, will grab these different things at the time, and it's over time that it allows me to be okay, wait a minute. It allows me to look from a different point of view. So now I've got pieces from this point of view, even though it's not complete and there's a lot of stuff missing, I'm aware of all this stuff, all this crap. And this is kind of like what I guess you could say, the negative side or the negative outcome. But then when I start processing, okay, which I've been starting to do, to the other point of view where certain people are involved in this situation, because I'm aware of their involvement where my siblings concerned, family. Sorry, I'm trying to avoid the stuttering right now because this is kind of, it hurt really fucking bad. And so that's why I immediately went towards the negative. But I started recognizing the connection to other people, to friends, even to my son's mother, my narc. To connections to where her family's concerned. Mom, uncles, that type of thing. It's been, yeah. And so when it came to like, how do I? This is why it's really hard, because this person that I am speaking of really, like, I guess you could say right up, not to remove the importance of God and all that stuff in life. This person has probably been the most important person to me in my life, and it's somebody I rarely talked about for a long time because I had to learn to cope with, like, in my mind, like, that person was, like, never going to be a part of my life again. The idea that it was this situation, the idea that they were already a part of my life long before this, and I didn't know it, but I do now. There's things that, like, yeah, from their direct involvement where this stuff's concerned, to other things, like, I'm really, like, even more certain groups of people, like, I'm just gonna say certain, and I'm hoping it because I don't want to point to anything specific, because I've already brought it up before, but there's certain groups, it's like, I'm starting to, if I look, like I said, on the other side of that point of view, instead of the negative, on the positive, what they were doing was actually the intent, even though it was, yeah, I admit, it was scary. What they were doing was trying to help. I think that's actually what they were doing. If I look at this from the flip side towards the positive side. No, I don't like what they did to do it. Either side, the negative outcome or positive, either way, it fucking sucked. It hurt. Yeah, it wasn't fun. But I look at the positive side of it on that flip side and start to look at from that point of view why that it was being done, why some of these people, I'm not going to say all of them, why certain people were doing what they're doing. It was the intent to not just get me away from that person and but also to the people that they are linked to. And I'm talking about my narc. And I'm also talking about where certain family members are concerned. I'm also talking about where certain friends are concerned, or certain people that I once called friends in school. Like, this is a big mess. Like, there's a really big situation. And it's like, what people hear, they're only getting a small bit of it. Some people even watching this, since I've really started speaking out on this, they may feel like they know it, like all the details. They really don't. There's a lot of stuff that I'm not gonna talk about in this format. It's just, looking at it from changing perspective to the positive, and looking at the things that were done down to, excuse me, the drive-by stuff that was happening, like the stalking stuff. There was things that was going on that, yeah, I even recorded all this stuff. I am aware. I'll just say I'm not 100%. I'm probably about 70-80% sure I know exactly who that vehicle was now that was sitting on that road, and who it was that pulled up right next to me and then sped off while I was on one of my walks. This was, I feel like it was like within a few days of each other this happened, or a couple days. I already know who the people were that were driving by in those other vehicles. I'm pretty darn sure I know who that was now. And if I had known then, you know how hard it would have been for me to not want to approach the vehicle to ask for a hug. Yes, it's been really difficult in this situation to say in a right now. Sometimes it's hard to tell the angels from the demons and the demons from the angels. And I know I have a couple out there watching. And yes, it's been taking me quite a while to really kind of come to that point of view or perspective. There's already a lot of things I can be thankful for, even when it comes to some of the stuff that really drove me away, that like helped push me out that door, because my life was getting put in danger. down. It wasn't just, no, this wasn't no theory thing. It was literally being put in danger. And so, no. And some of these outside interferences that start stepping in there towards the end there, yes, I'm starting to there's that question there now. Those people's involvement, was that really done? Man. Even though what was done, yeah, from it, even from my position or any other position, without knowing why, it would not be looked at as good. It would, no. Oh man, sorry, I've got like, yeah. But really, was the intent was to get me away from us? What was genuinely a dangerous situation. I'm not going to say more in detail of that because I'm more than aware of certain aspects that I do not want. Yeah, I'm leaving it right there. I'm leaving it right there. Because there, like I said, there's things going on that I'm more than aware of. I know is going on that I'm not gonna say because I can't say anymore. I really can't. It's just I'm starting to. I think I'm starting, and I'm honestly, I'm actually, in this sense, I hope I'm right. I actually hope I'm right on this right here, because I know it's in either side of this coin. I know, yeah, we're family, all this stuff, and I just want away. I don't want any part of that stuff. It's, as I've said before, not today, Satan. And not any other day. I don't want any part of that. I have enough of my own difficulties, my own personal hurdles to deal with, especially with some of my social shit that I deal with and all it, and having to relearn how to sort of, I'm having to sort of have to learn how to live and be able to communicate with people again and all this stuff, like years of effort when it comes down to it with my ASD, even not knowing for all those years, undone. And yeah, but if I'm right on this part of it, and I'm genuinely thankful for those people. Even on the bad side of it, I'm still thankful for it because they still gave me the incentive that I needed to really walk away and cut all ties, because a lot of things I was becoming aware of, and it was becoming too much for me to turn a cheek to, or for me to keep closing my eyes or ignoring. Oh man. There's a lot of dirty shit that's been going on. Can I say exactly on all of it? No. Yeah. Sorry, I've got a lot of pressure going on in my head right here, and it's actually been really, it's pretty intense right now tonight. There's things I'm catching. Like I said, that I don't know why my brain works this way. Like I said, there's things that I pluck, like when people post shit. If I'm friends with you and I see what you're posting and all that stuff, that type of thing, that's when I see it. I don't go snooping people's shit. I don't go out of my way to intentionally try to, like, dig on people. Like, you got your life, go live your life. I rarely even go to even my own friends, like on Facebook. People that I'm friends with that I interact on Facebook, I rarely even go to their pages. What I see comes across my wall thing. That's what I'll see, and that's what I see. When I started to investigate some of this shit on my own to try and understand what the fuck was going on, yeah, I checked a few people's pages. When I started realizing I had a bunch of flying monkeys, that was actually how I went through and made it to figure out who was who. Because yeah, that's when I was like, you know what? I went checked the pages. Yeah. And that's when I was like, okay, no, boom. This person's questionable. I'll give him like, a few days a week. Boom. There's certain things. I understand why somebody kept me from. Excuse me. I guess you could say kept me from blocking them. And I'm not talking about Menard. Excuse me. I did block him for a moment there, but then I kept I've been conflicted in this. So I said there's 2 point of views of this, and I've already ran through the negative part of this perspective, and that was one of the people that I was making sure was unblocked. So when they decide to talk, they will, or can, however, whatever it is. I've been chain smoking really fucking bad the last few days because there's been a lot of stuff that I have been processing. I've been trying to keep things down, and the downside is the less I smoke of this, the more of this. The less of this, the more of that. It's like fat bastard when it comes to eating and being fat. What was it? I'm angry because I'm fat, and I eat because I'm angry. I think that's what it is, or what it was. Yeah, and it's not anger for me. It's just yeah. It's not a. It's actually an unhealthy form of coping with things, and not knowing how. Yeah. I need to quit this stuff really bad. Just after everything that has happened, I'm looking at this other perspective, and yeah, I'm thankful for those people. Either way, I'm thankful for them because yeah, I was that was I picked up on enough. I picked up on enough and learned enough that it was like no more. And reevaluating and looking at things from another view, yeah. Either way, from either point of view, the choice realistically is still the same, and that is to sever all connections. Like permanently. It doesn't mean I love anybody less or care about anybody less. It means I'm no longer taking part in those games or being the target of people scapegoating or bullshit when I have enough of my own bullshit to deal with. Even within myself. And I am leaving it to God. I'm leaving it to karma. I'm leaving it to all that. Whether people think that's funny or not, I don't give a damn. I'm not about going out of my way to go and do the things that they did to people that was done to me. Not about seeking revenge or doing any of that stuff. That's why I leave it in karma's hands. I leave it in God's hands. That's why all anybody has to do is look back to my marriage, going to my divorce stuff. I made that divorce so fucking fair, and a lot of it was just wanting my son's mom to have a relationship with our son. I didn't even ask for child support until the last year he was in school, because she didn't take any part in that whole time. It, from my knowledge, what I knew, she only popped around twice. I didn't have any help. Do I hate her for that shit? No. She's the one who has to live with her choices, not me. And it's the same with the rest of these people. I have to just, and that's the same with myself. I have to live with some of, the various bad choices I've made in life. And the consequences I've had to live with from that. And instead of taking those consequences and utilizing them as, like, the woe me type thing in that sense, I actually do try to learn from it. And do my best to relay it to others in ways that hopefully they don't go repeat my shit, or even be repeating what these people have been fucking doing. So in due time, within 30 days, well, maybe a little more, give or take, the scenery, the background scenery for these is going to start changing. I'm not going to say when, it's just going to start. I've already, it was about maybe a month tops ago, I had, made it clear the next 30 to 60 days that I'm going to cut my losses where that home's concerned. Which will allow me to free my income up enough so that I will be able to get by, because I will be homeless. And I will be working from literally nothing. I will be leaving everything behind other than the necessities. And of course, I'm taking my Nintendo because I kind of, so I have something to do in my, the burn time, so I'm not just stuck focusing on this stuff. I mean, I'm finally almost done with the Zelda game, and almost, like, I'm working my way up to the top of the castle right now to go do battle with Ganondorf or whatever. But no, I'm accepting the losses and all the shit that has been going on and it's gone. There's things like, even where it comes to say hackers have a lot of access when they are able to get into your stuff, and I know I was dealing with more than one. It was just deciphering who was who, and if any one of them was friendly. And I feel like the one that has probably turned out to be more or less the friendly one, the one that, because they probably finally learned some shit. I don't know, because I feel like they might have been one of the people that were helping me. I don't know how to explain it. Even the people that were doing all the bad shit were helping me, and I don't think they realize it either. Like, all the people that took part in the abuse actually helped me. They didn't, like, even if, losing on the home, even if losing out on the sale, all that stuff, they didn't actually fucking hurt me, because I don't actually have to live my life knowing that I actively took part in destroying somebody's life based on shit talking, manipulations, reactive abuse, narcissistic abuse. I don't have to live the rest of my life with that knowledge. The rest of it just sucks. Yeah, it's stressing. It's overwhelming. Yeah, I got hurt really fucking bad. I'm still moving forward, no matter how fucking hard it is. 'Cause that's the only direction you can go. Am I going to be holding grudges and all? No. I learned a lesson, and I'm not going to forget it. And I'm not going to allow anybody to treat me the way that person and all these other people did. Now, looking at things from this other perspective, does this mean I'm still going to trust some of these people? Not right now, until I really, fully understand things. And when it comes to family, including siblings, no, I won't trust them again. Family does not do this to family. The fact that included family that I've never met before, no, family does not do this to family. And so, no. Thank you for the lessons. And thank you for opening my eyes and helping me remove these fucking lenses that I've had on for so long. Does this make me any, smarter when it comes to social situations and relationships, no. It's made me more vigilant and cautious. It's made me more aware. It's also made me become more selective on who I allow within, I guess you could say, my bubble. And yes, there are certain very, very specific people that were and have been involved in this shit, regardless of which side of that coin that they were sitting on. I really want to see again. Just like my foster sister, getting to see her again and getting to hug my old sister and all that meant a lot to me. And getting to see that person again, yeah, there's a part of me regretting that I had contacted them, because it did reopen a lot of stuff, even where they're concerned, because it took me a long time to sort of bury those emotions, because I didn't expect to even have one interaction with them. And to me, I felt like it was just looking back, I was just a stupid little boy, just like I am now, just a stupid, basically, kid in a man's body. And that's how I've been treated. And so, no, I just don't want any part of this shit anymore. And I meant what I said before. If I could do a name change, I would. Because when I don't want any connection to this shit, or these even whatever's been going on. Like, there's been some really fucked up things, really dirty shit. And my family, obviously, on both sides, my mom and my dad's side, like, they've all been like, not all of them, but different ones have been involved in some really dirty things. And whatever those are, I don't want any part of this. I want to be away from that. No, I'm tired of the hate. I deal with enough of it. I don't need it from family. And even though I'm still gonna hold on to the hopes and all that I will find someone that genuinely does love me. And as stupid as it sounds to some people out there, it's okay to be male and be vulnerable emotionally and all that. It's okay. If you're one of those guys out there, who's tough and all that, and you think men are pussies that cry, I think it takes a pussy to, I think those guys need to look in the mirror, because obviously they're not strong enough to go ahead and be vulnerable. It really does take a man to actually open up. If you're too scared to open up because you're afraid of what it's going to do to your image, I'm sorry, that's on you, not me. And keep those biases to yourself. But yeah, no, I forgive every person that was involved. I've already done forgiven. It's just, as I said, some of the things that's still going on that I'm witnessing, even with my own eyes, I don't want any part of it. No. And what I'm seeing family do to family, this isn't family. And yes, I'm still going to remain hoping that I find somebody. And I do hope to be able to find a family that actually wants me a part of it. Until then, all I can do is keep working on myself. And even after that, it's all I can do. And so, even if it means going to my grave hoping I can at least, go to my grave knowing that I didn't spend my life intentionally hurting people to try and get somewhere with it. So, I was trying to make this shorter than the last, and it's turning out to be about the same length. I'm sorry. Thanks for watching. Hopefully there's no rattling in this while I was talking and feeling a little stressed and all that stuff, because this stuff hurt pretty good. But trying to look at things at this different perspective and everything, you know, yeah. Thank you. I just know I need to get away from this. I really need to get away from this. Like, yeah. Have a good night and be safe out there.